From explosive countryside shootouts to savage boardroom insults, Yellowstone and Succession, both shows about aging patriarchs deciding which of their 4 children should inherit the family business, are airing their final seasons, so we're finally settling the debate. The brutal Dutton family or the ruthless Roys, Yellowstone vs. Succession. Which is better? And of course, spoilers ahead. The place we have to start is with the 2 patriarchs of the families, Logan Roy and John Dutton III. While they are both heads of wealthy families, have had near-death health scares, and are 2 of the most manipulative men on the planet, they had very different upbringings. Logan was born to a poor family in Scotland and pulled himself up by his bootstraps to build the multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate Waystar Royco, and John Dutton III grew up on the successful Dutton family ranch in the Montana countryside. But just because John Dutton was born into success doesn't mean he is soft. Quite the opposite, actually. John is willing to get his hands dirty protecting the family legacy in a way that Logan is not. Logan is the kind of guy who pays someone to do his dirty work, always keeping his hands clean. And it's up for argument if Logan would truly protect anyone but himself. I originally was gonna give John Dutton III the win, but then I thought about what if Logan wanted to buy the ranch? Could John stop him? And ultimately, I decided there was no chance John could prevent Logan from taking anything he wanted. That's part of his terrifying brilliance. I know that John is willing to do the dirty work himself and seems to have genuine love for his grandson, but the power of Logan Roy is too great.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Both sons of powerful fathers, Kendall Roy and Jaimie Dutton, struggle to define who they are apart from their family, and partly because of this, they continually try to sabotage or backstab their family's businesses. They both feel they deserve to be chosen as their father's successors and get angry when they are circumvented. Each has their share of issues leading to bad situations that their fathers use as leverage to force their loyalty. Kendall is partly responsible for a waiter's death from Shiv's wedding, and Jaimie is caught disposing of his biological father's murdered body. Yeah, they're both not winning Nobel Peace Prizes anytime soon. Kendall and Jaimie have been told time and time again by their dads that they're lacking what it truly takes to lead. So they interpret this to mean, oh, I should try and take what I want by force. Kendall blaming his father for all the problems from the cruise division, or Jaimie calling for the impeachment of his dad as governor. At the moment, I have to give a win to Jaimie and the Dutton family. He is finally close to fulfilling his plan against his father. But now with Logan Roy dead, Kendall may yet get what he wants. But mostly, I had to give this to Jaimie because of how sad Kendall looked at his insane birthday party. I mean, wow, talk about a sad birthday. Yikes. Both the Roys and the Duttons face enemies close to home. For the Roys, it's Sandy Furness and Stewie Hosseini. Logan and Sandy are longtime business rivals. They've spent decades as 2 of the biggest media conglomerates and they hate each other. So when Sandy sees a chance to take over Logan's company when Kendall tries to take it over for himself, Sandy seizes the opportunity and along with Stewie Hosseini become the 2nd largest stakeholders in the business. Now on the inside, they have been waiting for the slightest misstep from Logan so they can force him out. Their nefarious intentions have been on display this season, but trying to force Logan back to the negotiation table instead of voting the merger through. The Duttons, on the other hand, have Thomas Rainwater in their backyard. Chief Rainwater starts out wanting nothing more than to see the Duttons and their ranch removed from the land so he can build his new casino and expand the Broken Rock Reservation's influence. But as other enemies present themselves, Thomas actually teams up with the Duttons to deal with the outside invaders. Whether it's the Beck brothers or market equities, Thomas stands with the Duttons to kick them out. But now with John in the governor's mansion, Chief Rainwater feels he has little choice but to break the fragile truce he's had with the Dutton family. Again, I have to go with Thomas Rainwater as the better character. As much as I love Stewie, Chief Thomas Rainwater is motivated by genuinely wanting to improve the lives of the people on the Broken Rock Reservation. That is definitely not what Stewie or Sandy are about. Both the Duttons and Roys have tough-as-nail daughters, Siobhan and Beth. They both have made successful careers outside the family business, but yet they can't stay away and are drawn back into the family drama. Siobhan Roy is one of the most brutal political operatives and manipulating persons the world has ever known. And occasionally she uses those skills to help her father, but most of the time it is to help herself. Beth Dutton is equally brutal and helps her father through quite a few problems and survives her share of near-death experiences. Both are married to loyal company men, Shiv to Tom Wambsgans and Beth to Rip Wheeler. Shiv has her dog, Mondale, and Beth takes in orphan Finn Little. Maybe it's because I feel bad for her and all the explosions and attacks she has had to endure, but I'm giving this one to Beth. Her survival instincts or just pure luck have kept her alive through a few harrowing situations. While I would never want to campaign against Shiv, I think Beth might be invincible.
You are the trailer park. I am the tornado.
When John Dutton III has a job he needs done right, he calls Rip, one of the toughest men you'll ever meet, his right-hand man and son-in-law. He'll get it done right with no questions asked. Tom Wambsgans, on the other hand, Logan's son-in-law, will still do exactly what he's told, he just is not as reliable as Rip is yet. Tom is more of Logan's punching bag, but both are loyal to their bosses to a fault. Tom is so loyal, in fact, he betrays his wife Shiv. not to mention the fact he offered to go to prison for Logan. I still remember Tom practicing going to prison by eating bad diner omelets. Both are positioned to possibly inherit the kingdom, so to speak, when Logan or John secede control. As much as I want to give Tom the win, I have to give it to Rip. Tom is one of the funniest characters on television, but Rip is in prime position to get what both of them want, the throne. Rip is in John's will as the heir to the ranch because of all his years of loyal service. I am not so sure Tom is in the same position. While not a part of either immediate family, Gregg from Succession and Jimmy from Yellowstone have worked their ways into becoming integral parts of each business. Gregg is a cousin of the family and quickly inserts himself into the drama, only to become ridiculed endlessly by Logan and particularly Tom. You can't make a Tomlet without breaking some Greggs. Jimmy, on the other hand, is a down-on-his-luck kid who John brands into the ranch, and he too becomes an errand boy of sorts. While Jimmy definitely has more of a character arc, from addict to ranch hand to aspiring rodeo cowboy, and then shipped off to Texas to become a real cowboy, Gregg is one of the funniest characters possibly ever. Gregg brings endless laughs. So while part of me wants to give Jimmy the win for overcoming all he's been through, Gregg wins this round. Gregg tried to sue the charity Greenpeace to try and get back his inheritance his uncle had donated. I mean, who does that? I love watching Gregg slip deeper and deeper to the moral depravity that comes with being insanely wealthy. The oldest Dutton brother, Lee, might be the man Connor Roy always wanted to be, a tough rancher who lives on the land. Unfortunately, that is not how Connor Roy turned out. Instead, he launches a doomed presidential campaign. Connor spends $100 million just to keep his 1% share in the polls for president, something I think that would make Lee roll over in his grave. Lee is almost the perfect son in John Dutton's eyes. He does the hard work and never tries to betray the family. Lee is actually the one who will inherit the ranch until he is killed trying to retrieve stolen cattle from the Broken Rock Reservation. So while I don't really want to give Connor Roy anything, since he basically has everything already, I'm giving him the win. Mainly, it's because Lee is gone, and while he was a great character while he was around, Connor is continuing to give us lull moments almost every episode. Connor has a very unique style of pathetic older brother, because you want to feel bad for him, but then you remember he just spent $100 million for 1% in the polls, and you immediately stop feeling sorry for him. The Dutton Ranch has existed for 7 generations, and the Dutton family over that time has amassed a huge amount of power over the state of Montana. But that pales in comparison to Logan Roy's multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate, Waystar Royco, which he started himself. Waystar has enough money to buy and sell small countries if they wanted, so that makes this face-off especially tough. Do I give the win to the longevity and all the pain the Duttons have endured since 1881, or to Logan Roy and the sheer scale of his empire? John Dutton III is able to become governor because of the influence of the Dutton Ranch, while on the other hand, Logan gets to essentially choose who the next president will be because of the power he wields with Waystar Royco. This one is tough, and I understand arguments for both sides, but ultimately have to give the win again to the Roys and Waystar Royco. The power Waystar has is exponentially more than the Dutton Ranch. Heck, Waystar Royco might even own a few ranches the size of the Duttons, if not larger.
Money wins. Here's to us.
Both shows have mother-shaped holes in them. It's part of what makes them distinct from other family drama shows. Without the matriarch of the family to help settle disputes between the father and children, everything delves into chaos. Now, the mothers are absent for very different reasons. Evelyn Dutton dies tragically on horseback during the Dutton kids' childhoods, and her absence is felt by all the children throughout the show. Caroline Collingwood, the mother to 3 of the Roy children, is also mostly absent but for very different reasons. Part of the reason is obviously Caroline and Logan got divorced, but part of it is by choice. Caroline seems to want to distance herself from the Roy family at every turn, while still reaping some of the benefits, even though there are points when her children are genuinely reaching out for some support. Instead, she betrays her children and gives their father some of their control of the company. So I think for obvious reasons, I'm going with Evelyn Dutton. From what we are shown, it seems she was a genuinely loving mother, who loved her children and who was loved by the whole family, and maybe without her absence, everything could have gone a lot smoother for the Duttons. But somehow, I doubt that. To me, this is where the shows really separate and are different. Succession is a drama comedy, and is overall one of the best written shows out there.
I'm gonna build something better.
Yellowstone still has its moments of comedy, but is much more drama and action-packed. This is where Succession truly wins out. It is one of the best written comedies, up there in the pantheon of Veep, Arrested Development, or Atlanta. But if you like car chases, explosions, and fights more than laugh-out moments, then Yellowstone is for you. Both shows are masters in building tension and delivering jaw-dropping moments, but they do so in entirely different ways. Yellowstone with explosions, betrayals, and melodrama, and Succession with brutal insults and cringe-worthy moments. I don't think you could go wrong watching either show. Both are some of the best TV there is right now. And for fans of Yellowstone, there is 1923, telling some of the backstory of the Dutton Ranch. And fans should check out the creator of Yellowstone, Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone.